Good day to everyone, and once again, we are here for another video presentation with regards to handwriting examination and handwriting identification. Okay, so we are here now on the groups of characteristics. So, under groups of characteristics in handwriting identification, we have two major groups. So, we classified them into what? Into general characteristics, and the other one is individual characteristics. So let us try to differentiate those two groups of characteristics under handwriting identification. Okay, so first, let's try to have here the general characteristics. Okay, take note then. Okay, take note also, guys, that it is also called as common, okay, or class characteristics. So other sources, they call it as common or class characteristics. Well, pare-pareho lang naman po yung tinutukoy natin. Okay? So, ano nga ba po itong general characteristics na sinasabi natin? So, general characteristics, by the word itself na general, okay? By the word common, by the word class, then it is, we can say here, okay, that it is found among so large of writers. Okay? Or this kind of handwriting characteristics, we can see it or we can observe it to a large group of people or common po sa lahat or na-observe po natin sa lahat, okay, na klase or na characteristics po ng sulat kamay. Okay? So, ano nga ba, paano natin na-acquire to? So, it is said here that we are, or these handwritings, or these general characteristics of handwriting, we are able to acquire it, okay, when we are learning still when we were a child. Okay? Or this is the style that was taught to us, okay, by our parents or by the school, okay, by the time that we are starting to learn how to write. Okay? So, ano nga ba ang specific example? So, let us try to have here. Specific example na lang po ay kung paano ang sulat or pagsulat ng letter R. Okay? So, common po sa lahat na ang pagsulat po natin ng letter R ay we are going to form a straight line, downstroke, okay? And then we are going to form here another stroke and forming the letter or until such time we were able to form letter R. Okay? So, common po na ganito yung ating pagsulat ng letter R. Okay? Bakit kaya? Kasi ito yung tinuro sa atin nung tayo ay bata pa. Okay? So meron tayong copybook form or yung standard guide na ginagamit during the elementary days, na pinapakita sa atin na dapat nating sundin. Okay? That's why common po sa lahat ang pagsulat natin ng letter R or ang itsura ng letter R natin ay ganto. Okay? That's why that is what we say as general characteristics. Okay? So, katulad din ng letter A. Okay? Common po sa atin na we are going to or tinuruan din po tayo kung paano ang tamang pagsulat ng letter A. Okay? So, it is common that we are going to write letter A as this. Okay? So, with that, yan ay common or yan po yung standard, okay, na pagsulat natin or itsura po ng letter A. Okay? Pero from the time na tayo po ay nagsusulat, okay, or during the time that we are already getting older, okay, and practicing handwriting, so nagbabago-bago po yan. Okay? Kung dati ay kailangan nating sundin, okay, during elementary, okay, merong linya-linya po. Katulad po nandito sa ating illustration, meron pong linya-linya yung notebooks natin. Okay? So kapag mali po yung alignment or yung mali po yung procedure natin kung paano natin sinulat ang letter R, ang ang sasabihin ng teacher sa atin ay mali yung ginagawa natin. Okay? Mali yung pagsulat natin, okay, ng letter R. With that, okay, as we grow old, okay, nabubuo na yung individual characteristics. Okay? Or the handwriting characteristics that makes our handwriting unique. Okay? So, kung dati ang letter R ay ganito, okay, ang letter R natin during the elementary days ay ganito ang itsura, pero sa atin ngayon, okay, or ngayon na tayo ay tumatanda or as we practice handwriting, meron yung iba nagka-create na ng sariling style. Okay? So, yung iba, binabago yung slant. So, meron yung slant. Okay? Ginagawa nilang ganon. Okay? Ganto. Okay? Yung iba naman, pabaliktad. Okay? Or yung iba, merong mga art. Okay? Mga design. Okay? And then, meron din yung iba, okay, masyadong maliit. Okay? Nililiitan nila. Hindi fina-follow yung linya ng notebook. Okay? Or ng paper. Okay? And then meron din yung iba masyadong malaki. So anyway, when we are referring to the general or class characteristics, we are referring to the handwriting characteristics that are observable or napapansin natin or it is standard or it is widely accepted. Okay? The style that is widely accepted by group of people. Okay? So, yan po yung tinatawag natin na general or common or class characteristics. Okay? So, katulad na lang po ng nabanggit natin kanina, not only letter R, okay, we were taught also how to write properly letter A until letter Z during our childhood days. Okay? So, common po sa atin na ganito ang mga itsura ng letter or pagsulat po natin ng letters natin. Okay? So, that is a specific example that we could give on general characteristics. Okay? And another one, let's try to have here, okay, some of the things that we could consider, okay, that we could to show more about common characteristics. So, we have here the ordinary copybook form. Okay, again, mention ko kanina, okay, yung kung ito ay for printing, okay, printing or script writing, okay, ito naman ay for cursive or a copybook form or a guide, okay, standard guide for writing cursive, okay, in cursive. Okay, so common po sa atin na kapag tayo ay nagsulat ng in cursive with letter A, common po na ganito ang size, ganito ang itsura, okay, and then ganito ang style. Okay, so that is also another example of common characteristics or general characteristics. Okay, and then we have usual systematic slant. So katulad nung letter R kanina, nabanggit ko kanina na kapag mali yung slant na ginawa mo, mababa ang score na binibigay ng teacher mo. Okay, because in you are not following the standard style. Okay, so with that, a common characteristic of writing letter K is it should be in the vertical slant. Okay, it's not on the left slant. Okay, or slant sloping to the left and right. Okay, so with that, we have usual systematic slant. So that is why when we are still learning, okay, how to write, we have a guide on or we have the imaginary lines. Okay, they have the imaginary lines for us to follow the correct slant or the standard slants of a handwriting. Okay, and we have here ordinary scale of proportion. Okay, so magkaparehas or magkakaparehas or parehas yung sizes. Let's make an example. Okay, or pare-parehas yung or katulad ng pagsulat ng letter B. Okay, I should say. So letter B. Okay, mapapansin natin ang letter B, it has two, okay, like eyelets. Okay, it has two, okay, eyelets in here. So with that, okay, mapapansin natin na parehas po yung sizes nila. Okay, parehas po yung sizes. Okay, so with that, they are in proportion. Okay, pero meron na, okay, as we grow or as we do handwritings, okay, practice handwriting, okay, meron na yung binabago yung style. So instead, this is the ordinary scale or the standard scale. There are some individuals who are writing letter B na mas malaki yung nasa taas, okay, and then mas maliit yung nasa taas, ina-eyelet, and then mas mababa or mas I should say mas malaki, okay, yung nasa baba. Okay? So ganun din po yung sa ibang letters. Okay, meron yung merong binabago. Or in other words, to show proportion, scale of proportion, okay? Kaya meron din yung linya-linya, okay, during our childhood days for us to follow proportion, for us to observe, okay, that the letters that we are writing should be in proportion. Okay? So with that, dapat yung letter N natin is sumasakto sa linya, small letter. Okay? So dapat kapag isulat po natin ulit yung letter N is pareho pa rin. Okay? This is in proportion with the first letter N na sinulat po natin. Okay? Ganun na rin po sa big letter N. Okay? And by the second time that we are going to write, it should be the same, or it is the same with the other. Okay, so those are the that is also another example of common characteristics. Ordinary scale of proportion, or the sizes, okay, or the shapes, or the form is also the same. Okay, and we have here conventional spacing. So we have standard spacing, also in writing. Same as to the elementary days. Okay? Meron dapat equal spaces, or meron tayong spaces na, or dapat na space between the words, okay? In between letters na sinusunod. Okay? So conventional spacing. Okay? And that is for common characteristics. Okay? So those are the examples that we could give. And moving on, we have here these national characteristics. Just to add on, okay, these national characteristics is under general characteristics still. Okay, kasi sabi nga natin sa general characteristics, these are common or observable to wide, okay, to almost all, okay, individual, or to all group, or in a group of people. Okay, and we have here, sabi dyan, okay, these are the handwriting or the writing system that is being practiced within a certain country. Okay, so just like here in our country, we have here also our own, okay, copybook form. Okay, so we have here the modern Filipino alphabet. Katulad din nung mga nabanggit natin nung last time, the copybook form, earliest copybook forms. We have the French, okay, we have the British. So those are also the national characteristics. Those are national characteristics of handwriting also of the other countries. So we have here in the Philippines, so it's almost the same with the English alphabet. However, we have here the added letters, okay, or group of letters, the Nye and then the NG. Okay, so and this is what we are having now as our modern alphabet, and this is also the way, or this is how our letters looks like, okay, or how we write the letters, okay, or for us, these are the letters that we are using to create different Filipino words. Okay, so that is for national characteristics. And moving on, we have here the second one. So take note, this is the second group of characteristics under handwriting in identification, the so-called individual, okay, or tinatawag din po na personal characteristics. Okay, so ano nga ba ang meron dito sa individual or personal characteristics? So kung sabi natin kanina sa general characteristics, those are common to several groups of people. Okay? Pero dito sa individual, this is unique, okay, to an individual. Okay? Or this is unlikely to occur in other, or this is personal or highly personal or peculiar. In other words, okay, so bakit kaya nagkakaroon ng ganito? Bakit kaya nagkakaroon tayo ng sariling style, okay, in handwriting? Okay, sabi nga natin sa principle of handwriting, no two writers write exactly the same. So that is the principle. That's why sabi ko sa inyo nun, we have here now the individual characteristics or personal characteristics. So ito yung pinapansin natin, or these characteristics are the ones that we are focusing more on, okay, examining more on for us to establish identity. Okay? Kasi masasabi natin na these are unique. Okay? Personal or peculiar. Or bihira po natin itong mapansin sa sulat kamay ng ibang tao. Okay? So, ano po ba yung factors bakit nagkakaroon ng individual or personal characteristics? So, as we have said, sa physiological basis on handwriting, involved ang isipan natin, di ba? So, we have different thinking. We have different functioning of the nervous system. Okay? And aside from that, okay, the emotions, personality na meron tayo. Okay? Not only that, but sometimes pati na rin ang physical capability natin or physical uh, physical uh, capability or ability na meron tayo. Okay? So with that, since we have different kinds of thinking, different thinking, we have different personalities and emotions and others, okay, health condition or physical health condition, then that's why we are having or we are creating our own personal characteristics in handwriting. Okay, so what are those examples that we could give under individual characteristics? So, una na po dyan is, ito, specific example, hook to the right or hook to the left. Okay, hindi po sayaw ito. Pero, let's try to have here an example. So, meron po tayo, sabi natin sa general characteristics, ang pagsulat ng letter R ay, okay, merong downstroke, forming it, okay, creating another strokes, and we were able to create letter R. Pero yan, okay, to some individual or some people, okay, they make use of hooks, okay, or they are going to put some decorations sa kanilang handwriting, okay, or to make it more for them to see it more better. Okay, kaya nilalagyan nila, okay, meron silang hooks na nilalagay. So instead na simple letter R ay ganun ang itsura, dinadagdagan nila ng hook. Okay? Meron din sa ibang letter. Okay? Instead na ang letter B nila ay walang hook. Okay? Or in general, we don't put hooks sa letter B natin, pero yung iba nilalagyan nila ng hook. Okay? Meron din yung iba, letter T. Okay? Rare or peculiar, nilalagyan ng hook sa taas. Okay? Kung hindi sa right, nilalagyan sa left. Okay? And also with the other letters na pansin natin. Okay? Napansin natin sa style ng ibang tao. Okay? So aside from that, we have here also number 2. Okay? We have different individual characteristics basing on shape, position, size, angle, or I dots or T crossing. Okay? So sa shape pa lang, nabanggit natin kanina, meron yung iba, nililiitan masyado yung handwriting nila. Okay? Meron din yung iba, masyadong malaki. Okay? Meron din yung iba, instead na dito yung line, okay, sa ating notebook or nandito yung baseline, okay, ito yung baseline ng ating writing or on the paper, okay, ang ginagawa, ginigitna nila yung sulat nila. Okay? And then yung iba naman, inaabot sa baseline. Okay? Yung iba naman, pinupunta sa kung saan-saan, sa taas. Okay? So, merong kanya-kanyang position din. Okay? And then sizes, okay, big, okay, or small, and then sa shape, binabago ng konti yung shape. Okay? Merong oval, okay, meron din naman yung pointed, okay, angular, okay, o pointed writing. Okay, and then sa eye dots, ito rin yung pinaka-common. Okay? So meron yung iba, yung dot ng eye nila is nasa taas lang, okay? Or generally nasa taas yung dot, simple dot. Okay? Pero yung iba masyadong mataas, yung iba nakatutok sa mismo sa letter I. Okay? Yung iba naman nasa gilid, yung iba nasa kanan, nasa kaliwa yung iba. Or yung iba ang ginagamit is hindi dot, kung hindi ay gumagamit ng star. Okay? Or yung tinatawag natin na embellishment. Okay? Ito po yung tinatawag natin na embellishment or using decorations, okay, sa handwriting. So instead na star or dot lang, ang ginagawa ay nilalagyan ng heart. Okay? So yun po yung tinatawag natin na embellishments in handwriting. Sa T crossing naman, meron yung iba, okay, standard sa gitna naman. General characteristics on writing letter T ay sa gitna lang, standard. Pero meron na yung iba ginagawa na ng unique style, pinupunta sa taas, yung iba pinupunta naman sa baba, masyadong baba. And then hindi masyadong nakagitna, yung iba dito lang. Okay, yung iba naman sa gilid naman. Okay? So those are some examples of individual characteristics also. Okay, and another one, idiosyncrasies. Okay, idiosyncrasies, we are referring to the, yun nga sabi natin, personal temperaments, okay, or personal likes. Okay, so so we are simply referring also to the individual likes or individual styles. So it covers almost all of this. Okay, almost all. Okay, so anyway, we are going to give here a specific example also. So meron kasi yung iba prefer nila na prefer nila na magsulat ng ano to, ng masyadong malapit sa masyadong magkakalapit na letters. Okay? So katulad nito. Okay, let's say here there are some individuals who write the word rat. Okay? Let's make a use of example. Okay, masyadong magkakalapit. Okay? Pero meron yung iba they prefer. Okay? They prefer na mas magkakalayo yung letters and mas malalaki. Okay? So it's because they prefer or they like this they like to write, okay, the letters farther from each other because they are comfortable on it, okay, or they can easily read this word if they are going to write it in that way. Okay? So yung iba naman prefer nila na mas malapit masyado kasi gusto nila or parang waste of time sa kanila kung magkakalayo masyado. So gusto nila magkakalapit para mas mabilis silang magsulat. Okay? So that is also one example that we could give. Yung iba naman, okay, masyadong makapal yung masyadong mataas, okay, or sabihin natin they put too much pressure in writing, okay, they put too much pressure in writing. Yung iba naman ano lang, slight, hindi masyadong hindi masyadong madiin, okay, kaya meron yung nagko-cause ng pen jump na sinasabi natin, okay, or masyadong mabilis, okay, or since masyadong mabilis nagkakaroon ng pen jump or hindi masyadong madiin yung pagsulat niya or relax lang yung kamay. Okay, so they prefer that kasi kapag diniinan nila masyado, okay, feeling nila ay mapapagod sila agad, di ba? And then kapag magaan naman, syempre mas relax yung kamay nila, hindi agad-agad mapapagod yung kamay nila. Okay? And then we have here bulbs and distinctive initials in final pen pressure. Okay, so meron tayo yung iba dito. Okay, kung sa letter B is simple lang na ganun. Okay, generally ganun ang itsura, ganito ang itsura ng letter B natin. Pero yung iba ginagawa nila ng bulb. Okay? Gumagawa sila ng bulb. Okay, bulb or parang ganito ang itsura niya. Okay? Or circular shape. Okay? And meron din yung iba, okay, aside from letter B, meron din yung iba na gumagawa ng letter K, instead na ganun lang, ilalagyan ng bulb. Okay? So, merong bulb na binubuo. So, that is for them to see, okay, or they see their handwritings, okay, or it's better. Okay? So, that is another example of individual characteristics. Yung iba naman, okay, embellishment na nabanggit natin. Okay, common na dyan yung letter I. Okay, and then ginagawa ng heart, or kung hindi man, star. Okay, yung iba naman is kung hindi star, other shapes. Okay, circle. Okay, and pati na rin letter J. Okay, ginagawa ng that. Instead of that, they are going to make use of a heart. Okay, and other writings that you have observed from your classmates or maybe from the people whom you with, okay, seeing their handwritings. Okay, and abbreviation of letters. So kung general, okay, or standard, we are going to write with. Okay, in that way, meron yung iba ang ginagawa na lang is ganon. Okay, and that is with for them or that is read as with by them. Okay, meron yung iba tamad na magsulat ng without. Okay, masyadong mahaba. Okay, so they are just going to write W/O, and that is without for them. Okay, yung iba naman, instead of writing end, okay, instead na isulat ang word na end, ang ginagawa na lang is this symbol. Okay, so that could be an example of abbreviation of letters, or making the words in a simple form. And we have here, okay, simple and compound curves or graceful endings. Okay, so meron yung mga iba na okay, medyo inaartehan yung sulat nila. So, yung ending nila is medyo mahaba. Okay? Merong curves na nabubuo or graceful ending. Okay? And then, usually it is observable in cursive writings. And we have here also, okay, yung iba, okay, masyadong hinahabaan yung ending. Okay? And that is an example, or that is also categorized as individual characteristics of handwriting. And we have here labored or forced movement producing ragged lines. Okay, so meron kasi yung mga ibang uh, writers, okay, they prefer to put too much force, okay, in their handwriting. Okay, so with that, it produces ragged lines. Okay, so ma-observe yan by deeper looking or examination of the handwriting. So we can observe that that is a forced movement of handwriting, okay, or labored movement of handwriting. Okay, so just imagine if you're going to write a certain letter, okay, forcefully, then the writings that is produced, okay, it might have characteristics of a rag. Okay, it is rag, okay, or medyo curly yung sulat, okay, or merong uh, tremors na nabubuo. Okay, and with that, we have here also the last one, terminal shading or forceful ending. So kung kanina, gracefully ending the writing, okay, meron naman yung iba prefer na uh, that merong prefer na shading na lang yung ending nila. Okay? So instead of katulad nung kanina, okay, na graceful yung ending, okay, or tapering yung ending, okay, pero sa kanila, or in here in number 1, they prefer it to be, okay, forceful or with a terminal shading. Okay, so just like letter A, okay, so instead na gracefully, they are going to make a forceful or terminal shading instead. Okay, so those are the examples of individual characteristics that we have in here. Okay, so now we have here writing characteristics. Okay, different writing characteristics. So let's try to have here one by one. So first, we have here connecting strokes. So ano nga ba ang ibig sabihin pag sinabi nating connecting strokes? So these are strokes that links, okay, strokes of links that connects a certain or a letter with the following. Okay, so this is common in cursive writings and in signatures also, in creating signatures. So there are four. Okay, there are four kinds of strokes. Okay, connecting strokes. So meron po tayo yung tinatawag na garland. Okay, or the opening is on the upper. Okay, or facing on the upper part. Okay, or we have here also arcade. Okay, so arcade, the opening is facing downward. Okay, and we have here the angle, okay, or angular strokes. Okay, so they are pointed and the opening is, they are usually pointed. Okay, and we have here the thread-like, so almost, okay, this is observable on those handwritings that are written in a fast way. Okay, so that is for connecting that is the four, okay, connecting strokes. So let's try to have here the angular. Let's describe more about angular forms. So usually these are, okay, sharp, okay, straight strokes that are made by stopping by the pen. So it is caused by stopping the pen, okay, and changing direction before continuing. Okay, and with that, that is why sharp, okay, or angular forms are being created. Okay, so as you can see here in our illustration. And next one, we have here the arcade form. So we have said that the opening is for facing, okay, facing downward, okay, and forms that look like arches. Okay, it looks like an arch, arch, okay, and arches rounded on top, okay, and open at the bottom. Okay, so this should be bottom. Okay, and as you can see, let's try to find out where is the arcade forms of connecting strokes in here. So as you can see, we have here in this letter, okay, 4. Okay, so it's like this. Okay, the it is like an arch. Okay, the opening is on the bottom. And meron din tayo dito, connecting the letter O with the letter U. Okay, and then we have here again, connecting letter O and R, okay, to form the word for, okay, and so on. So that is for the arcade form. We have here also the Garland form. So this is what we have said a while ago, that it is cup-like, okay, or yung opening is naka-face upward. Okay, connected form that is open at the top and rounded on the bottom, or kabaliktaran ng kanina yung sinabi natin na arcade forms. Okay, so let's try to find out. Okay, so common ito, Garland forms. So as you can see, we have here connecting letter A and N. Okay, meron din tayo dito, A connecting with M. Okay, and we have here again, letter A connecting letter L. Okay, so that is, or those are the Garland forms that we can see in this writing. Okay, and next is the thread form. So this is observable on those handwritings that are written in a fast way. So they are usually or looks flat. Okay, indefinite connecting form that looks flat and wavy. Okay, so as you can see in here, it is almost a straight line. So let's try to observe here some of the thread form connecting strokes in here. So as you can see, we have here the V connecting the letter A. Okay, and then meron pa tayo dito, the word, okay, or the meron tayo dito yung letter, okay, R. Okay, letter R, okay, connecting with letter E. So it's almost a flat. It looks like flat, okay, and a little bit wavy. Okay, so that is for the thread form. Okay, connectors. Okay, and we have here, alignment is also being observed in terms of handwriting examination. Okay, and especially we have general characteristics. We have general standard alignment. Okay, of writing letters. Okay, or words, but we can also consider it in examining. Okay, uh, individual characteristics, because there are individuals, sorry, different, okay, style in writing, especially in alignments. Okay, so meron yung iba lumalagpas sa linya. Okay, kunwari merong guide po yung ating writing or paper. Okay, linalagpas nila sa taas, okay, or nilalagpas nila sa baseline. Okay, or ginigitna na lang yung letter instead of uh, making it touch, okay, or the point or the apex of the letter touch the top line, okay, or the sender, and the other one will touch the baseline. Okay, so alignment is also considered. Okay, so downstrokes. So simply we are referring to strokes that are forming from top, okay, going down. Okay, or in other words, these are strokes that are referred to as the movement of the pen towards the writer, or papunta po sa position ng writer. Okay, downstroke. So usually, pag tayo nagsusulat, nakaharap po tayo sa ating writing instrument. Okay, so with that, okay, downstrokes are usually described as movement of the pen towards the writer. Okay, kabaliktaran naman po is yung upward strokes, okay, is going away from the writer. Okay, and form, so simply pag sinabi po nating form, okay, it is the writer's chosen writing style. Okay, so this is the writer's chosen style. Okay, so this refers to the shape or design that design of the individual letters. Okay, so elementary days, okay, pare-parehas tayo ng pagsulat ng letter A, letter B, okay, kasi yun yung tinuturo sa atin. But this time, okay, when we are adult already, we are adapting different forms or different styles in handwriting or in writing different letters. Okay, so meron yung iba prefer nila ang gantong style in handwriting. Meron din yung iba mas prefer nila naman yung gantong style. Okay, so that is what we refer to as form, or mas prefer nila ang gantong form, and yung iba mas prefer nila ang gantong form of writing letters. Okay, and Gestalt. So Gestalt we are referring simply by graphology also. Gestalt handwriting, okay, or they call it also as Gestalt handwriting, and we are referring to graphology. Okay, so it is a German. Okay, this word is a German, and it means a complete, means complete or whole. Okay, because what we are going to consider the whole handwriting or the handwriting of the individual, and what we are going to do with that. Okay, so analysis of the handwriting as a whole picture in order for us to conclude, okay, what character, okay, or what personality does the writer have. Okay, so we have here an example in this illustration. So meron yung iba, okay, na magsulat ng letter Y ay slender size or slender type of writing letter Y. Okay, and then as to the handwriting examiners, they say, okay, in some handwriting examiners, they say it as they are selective, okay, in whom they call as a friend. Okay, so masyado silang mapili ng mga kaibigan. Okay, ganun daw yung personality, okay, of those individuals who are writing slender Y. Okay, and then we have here individuals who are writing, okay, they characterized it as broad way of writing Y. Okay, so they have large, or those, they are individual, okay, or the writer has a large circle of friends. Okay, and then ganun din naman sa individual that writes a long, a Y. Okay, they love to travel, and then for the short Y, they love, okay, or they are just going to, or they just want to stay at home. Okay, they are a home body. Okay, and that is for Gestalt. So simply we are referring to graphology also here, or Gestalt handwriting. Okay, and we have here hand lettering. So hand lettering is any disconnected style of writing in which each letter is written separately, or also called, this is just simply called also as hand printing. Okay, so don't forget hand lettering or hand printing, and college days or college students usually adapt, okay, hand printing rather than cursive. Ilan lang, if I'm not mistaken, ilan lang yung nag-a-adapt ng cursive writing. Okay, but during the college, elementary days, especially grade 5 or grade 6, they are focusing on cursive writing. Okay, so anyway, that is for hand lettering. Hiatus naman is, ito yung sinasabi ko kanina, pen jump. Okay? So this is usually a result of writing in a fast way. Okay? So masyadong mabilis yung pagsulat, or okay, relax, okay, yung sulat. Yeah, or dire-diretso. So it's because masyadong mabilis, okay, yung sulat niya, there is a pen jump or hiatus na tinatawag po natin. Hiatus is also known as pen jump. Okay? So this is a gap occurring between continuous strokes without lifting the pen. So take note, this is not lifted. Okay? Still, mapapansin niyo sa signature na ito, okay? So the writer or the person who has or possess this signature is or had written this signature in a fast way. Okay, kung mapapansin niyo, there is a very slight line. Okay, still. So there is, this is not caused by lifting the pen, but it is caused because of the speed or too fast, okay, in writing. Okay, and then this is what we refer to as pen jump. Okay, meron din tayo dito, pen jump. Yan. Okay, so that is what we so called as hiatus. Okay, so now we have here ano to? The so-called left handwriting. Okay, left handwriting naman. So, hindi po ibig sabihin na pag sinabi nating left handwriting ay pagsulat gamit ang kanang kamay. I mean, kaliwang kamay. Okay? So, take note, left handwriting po, it is also known as wrong handwriting sinistral. Okay, take note. It is also known as wrong handwriting sinistral. Okay? So, bakit kaya sinabing wrong handwriting po ito? Okay? So, sinabing wrong handwriting po ito kasi this is executed with the opposite hand that normally used. Okay? Or in other words, involved po dito ang dominant hand. Okay? So, dominant, instead na, meron po kasi tayo yung dominant hand, okay, that we usually use in handwriting. Okay, meron, or the normal, the hand that we usually use, okay, in normal handwriting. Okay? So, that is why they say also that this is AKA, known as with the awkward hand. Okay, so ibig sabihin, pag ako, ang dominant hand ko ay right, okay, and then sinubukan kong i-disguise. Observable kasi, I mean, common po kasi itong left handwriting na ito pag sa disguise handwriting. Okay? Or gusto nilang i-disguise yung handwriting nila, or para hindi ma-identify na sila yung sumulat nun. Okay? Kaya ang gagamitin is yung left hand para itago nila yung handwriting, okay, or yung individual characteristics that they have, okay, in their normal handwriting. Okay, so kapag ako ay ginamit ko ang dominant hand ko in handwriting is right, okay, and then ginamit ko ang aking left hand, ibig sabihin nun that is a wrong handwriting sinistral or left handwriting. Okay? In the study of handwriting identification na naman ulit po yan, okay, not in a general terminology. So sa study po natin, we are referring to that as left handwriting. And ako naman, okay, sabihin natin, another example, gamitin natin, meron yung isang tao, ang dominant hand niya in handwriting is left hand, okay, pero ginamit niya to disguise his handwriting is yung right hand niya, then that is termed as left handwriting, even though na right yung ginamit niya. Okay, kasi yan is, or that is not his dominant hand used, or that is not the normal hand that is he using in writing. Okay, and with that, don't forget that is also called as wrong handwriting sinistral. So letter space, we are just simply referring, okay, referring naman po yan sa, okay, space between the letters. Okay, so kung meron tayong word space, then we have also letter space, and we are considering also this in handwriting identification. Kasi sabi nga natin kanina, in individual characteristics, meron tayo yung iba't ibang individual, they write, okay, or they have, or they create their own style in spacing or in giving space their letters. So yung iba matipid sa papel, yung iba masyadong maaksaya, yung iba naman sakto lang, okay, yung spacing nila. A letter space. Take note, letter space, space from one letter to another letter. Okay, pag space from one word to another word, then that is not a letter space but a word space. Line direction, it is also commonly observed in handwriting identification. So meron tayo yung individual, okay, or line direction, this is the movement of the baseline, okay, movement of the handwriting from the baseline. So baseline, okay, that is referred to as the bottom part, okay, bottom line, okay, so that we can see if that is, or that individual is writing in a straight line or not. Okay, so mapapansin niyo, this is a normally straight baseline. Okay, kasi pare-parehas yung N niya, okay, is same as to the last letter that he write, yung letter T. Okay, parehas yung linya. Okay, or parehas na sumasagi sa baseline natin. And then meron din yung ascending, pataas yung direction. Okay? And then meron din yung iba pababa yung pagsulat nila. And then yung iba, okay, parang alon yung itsura. Parang alon kumbaga. Okay? Yung itsura ng as mentioned by Manny Pacquiao. Parang alon. Okay? Yung sulat. And anyway, we are referring to line direction. Okay? So now we have here line quality. Okay, line quality is also being observed. Okay, so the overall character of the ink lines from the beginning to the ending strokes. Okay, so this is in line direction. Okay, so we are referring if it is upward, okay, downward, okay, ascending, descending, okay, or normally straight. But in here we are referring to the quality. Okay, so I mean in quality, the overall character, okay, of the ink lines from the beginning to the ending stroke. So is it meron tayo dito is we have two classes, a good line quality and a poor line quality. So masasabi natin na good line quality yan kapag from the very beginning the ink line is the same as and up to the last, okay, strokes that he have created. Okay, and then poor line quality naman yan kapag paiba-iba, okay? Paiba-iba yung ano to yung baseline niya. Okay? So that is poor quality or poor line quality. So in here we can say that it is a good quality or good line quality, and on the other hand this is considered to be as a poor line quality. Okay? Paiba-iba kasi siya. So sa isang linya, okay, pataas siya. Then sa next na linya na naman merong pababa. Okay? And then meron yung iba paalon yung itsura. Okay? Combination of the different line directions. Okay, so that is line quality. So manuscript writing, so disconnected form of script, or we are referring, or a disconnected form of script or semi-script writing. Okay, and take note, manuscript. Okay, when we say manuscript, those are books, okay, or writings that are in written purely by hand. Okay, purely by handwriting, and especially by script writing or printing or separated, okay, letters of writing. Okay, so manuscript writing, and this is the one that is being taught to us, okay, during our elementary schools. Okay, disconnected form of writings. Okay, and we have here margins is also considered in handwriting examination. So meron kasi yung iba mas prefer na merong 1 inch margin. Okay, okay, meron din yung iba mas prefer na idikit masyado, okay, or sulitin yung linya, sulitin yung buong papel. Okay, and then yung iba gustong lagyan ng kalahating margin lang. Okay, 0.5 inch margin. Okay, and then with that, we simply refer to it as we simply refer to as margin. Okay, and movement. So movement, we are referring to the uh, the muscle movement. Okay, or the not only the not only the hand muscles, but we are referring, okay, or we categorize handwriting movement into four, okay, or writing movement into four. So meron tayo finger movement of handwriting, meron din tayo hand, okay, movement of writing, forearm, okay, and whole arm writing. So let's try to differentiate those four. So finger movement, this only involve the thumb, the first, okay, and the second, okay, or the index and then the middle finger. Okay, so with that, this is the one that these three fingers is the only one that moves. Okay, so usually the type of writing that is being formed, okay, using finger movement is small writings, di ba? Kasi limited yung galaw niya, di ba? Limited lang yung galaw, kaya maliliit yung sulat niya. Okay, so with that, that is finger movement. Okay, so yung finger lang yung gumagalaw, pinapagalaw niya in handwriting. And then we have here hand movement. So hand movement, yung buong kamay naman. Okay, pero hindi kasama ang arm and then hindi kasama ang forearm natin. Okay, so hand movement lang siya. So mas malaki ngayon yung nakikreate niya na, okay, mas malaki ngayon yung nakikreate niya na sulat, unlike sa finger movement. Okay, and then comparing naman sa hand movement, forearm movement natin, involved na po dito yung forearm natin. Okay, so we have the finger, we have the hand, and then we have here the forearm. Okay, that's why forearm movement. So mas malaki na yung handwriting, and usually nagagamit ito ng mga writers na masyadong malaki. Or let's say kayo ay magdo-drawing sa illustration board na 1/4. Okay? So and i-consume nyo yung buong illustration board na yun. Okay? Yung cardboard na yun. Okay? So or yung Manila paper. Okay? Malalaki yung sulat ninyo. Kaya forearm yung gagamit or forearm movement yung ginagawa ninyo. Okay, and then whole arm movement naman usually sa blackboard, okay, ng ating mga teachers if they are going to do an illustration or write an illustration. Okay, so whole arm movement kasama na po yung buong braso dyan. Okay, malalaki yung sulat na nag-create. Okay, and then we have here natural writing. Okay, so natural writing we are referring to any specimen of writing executed normally without the attempt to control. Okay, so syempre wala pong involvement or walang disguise, walang intention to disguise the handwriting. Okay, so natural writing. Okay, no, just the normal way of writing of the individual. Okay, and then with that, if they are going to write in the natural way, then it is easy for us to identify. Okay, whose handwriting is that? Okay, so identifiable po yung individual characteristics nung nung handwriting po ng individual dito. Okay? So, with that, natural variation. So, these are the usual or normal deviations found between repeated specimens of any individual writing. So, with that, okay, aside, normal naman talaga. If you are going to write signature, your own signature, okay? So, if you're going to write your own signature in three times, okay, sabihin natin, mag-signature kayo 3 times. Okay, so with that, mapapansin ninyo na medyo iba-iba siya. Okay? Because we have natural, okay? Natural variation. So, katulad na lang ng position, okay? Position, okay? Position ng ating kamay, position po ng, yung position ng kamay is nakaka-affect. And aside from that, it is normal, okay, that there is a deviation. Okay? Kasi sabi natin sa principle of handwriting, okay, no two writings are exactly alike. Or sabi pa doon, okay, exact or complete uh, likelihood, okay, or mas eksaktong parehas yung sulat, okay, yung itsura, yung size, okay, and then shape, then that could be a form of forgery, okay, especially in signature. So anyway, natural variation that could be in the slant, okay, position, okay, those could be one of the normal, okay, or usual deviations found in repeated specimens or repeated handwritings. Okay, and pen emphasis. So when we say pen emphasis, okay, this is the periodic increase in pressure of intermittently forcing the pen against the paper surface. Okay, so iba po ang pen pressure sa pen emphasis. Okay, so pag sinabi pong pen emphasis, this is the act of intermittently forcing the pen against the paper with increased pressure. Okay, so simply this is the act of intermittently forcing the pen. Okay, or parang we are going to touch, okay, the point of the pen, or make the pen touch, or make the ballpoint of the pen touch the paper surface or the surface of the paper. Okay, so that is pen emphasis. Okay, just intermittently forcing the pen against the paper. So that is pen emphasis. Okay, so with that, pag sinabi pong pen pressure, okay, or pen hold muna po tayo. Sabihin po natin pen pressure muna. Okay, pag sinabi pong pen pressure, so ito kasi yung medyo nakaka-confuse sa pen emphasis and pen pressure. So pag sinabi pong pen pressure, okay, this is the average force. Okay, so sa pen emphasis, wala po tayong pinag-uusapan dun na average force or puwersa. Okay, kung gaano kadiin yung pagsulat ng tao. Okay, or nung writer. So yun yung pinag-uusapan natin pag sinabing pressure. Pen pressure. Gaano kadiin. Okay? Or gaano kadiin yung style niya in writing. Okay? The average force. Okay? Which the pen makes contact with the paper. Okay? So, yun po yung pinag-uusapan dito. The average force. Okay? Gaano kadiin. So, yan yung sa pen pressure. Pag sinabi pong pen emphasis, just intermittently forcing the pen, okay, on the forcing the pen against the paper surface, okay. So it doesn't, we are not referring to the pen pressure, okay. So that is pen emphasis. And pen hold, so paano po yung paghawak natin ng ball pen or ng pen natin, okay. So we have here the dynamic tripod style. So dynamic tripod style, tripod kasi involved po dyan is the thumb, okay, the middle finger, and then the index finger only. Okay, and then we have here dynamic quadrupod, involved na po ang ring finger. Okay, and then meron din yung iba, lateral tripod. Okay, this is how they look like. So pinunta sa gitna, it's more relaxed, okay, or common ito sa lahat. And then meron din yung iba, parang bata kung magsulat din, okay, the lateral quadrupod style. Okay, so those are some of the styles in holding the pen. Pen lift, okay, pen lift, tataas natin yung pen. Okay, the interruption, an interruption in a stroke caused by removing the pen from the paper. Removing the pen from the paper. And that is what we refer to as pen lift. Okay, pero iba po ang pen, iba po ang naka-create ng ating pen lift, okay, sa pen jump. I mean, hindi po ito iba po yung naka-create niya sa sinasabi natin na hiatus, okay? Kasi kapag sinabi nating pen lift, okay, so disconnected talaga siya. Okay, disconnected letters, okay, or usually this is what we are doing in writing or in printing letters, okay. Pero pag yung katulad na lang ng letter A, okay, so again, if you're going to, let's say, let's try to write a word ant, okay, and there, we need to lift the pen, okay, in order for us to create the word ant, okay. But in some, okay, meron tayo yung mabilis magsulat masyado, kaya merong na-create na disconnections, okay, sa part ng letter A, that is hiatus, okay, hiatus, because of the reason na masyadong mabilis yung pagsulat niya, okay, the speed of his handwriting, okay. Well, anyway, we can easily determine if that is a form of pen lift or that is a pen jump, okay. So kapag pen lift yan, then blunt po yung end ng ating handwriting dito. Okay, blunt po siya. Pero kapag ano yan, kapag yan ay hiatus, okay, it is caused by a pen jump, ang itsura niya is tapering siya. Tapering like ending. Okay, paanong tapering? Kung mapapansin niyo, tapering ibig sabihin hindi makapal. Okay, or hindi siya pointed or hindi siya parang dot. Okay, kasi kapag pen lift, okay, yung ginawa niya, he lifted the pen, ibig sabihin parang dot po yung itsura niya. Okay, or medyo makapal yung itsura. Pero dito tapering siya. Tapering or panipis siya. Okay, so that is the difference between those two. Okay, so going back here on the pen position naman, okay? So how we are referring to the relationship between the pen, point, and the paper, okay? The orientation of the writing instrument, okay? Or especially, this is simply referring to the pen point with regards to the paper. So some prefer to write, okay? It's more vertical, okay? And then this one, it's in a diagonal form of, or the pen position is in a diagonal, okay? In diagonal. And on the other hand, okay, this one is in a vertical position. So with that, pen pressure naman, nabanggit naman natin kanina, okay, we are talking about on how, or the average force, or gaano po kadiin yung pagsulat ng individual. Okay, proportion naman, nabanggit din po natin kanina. Okay, so these are relative, okay, individual characteristics and relative proportion of letters or proportion of part of the letter, okay, yung letter B na nabanggit natin kanina, or as we use this as illustration, okay, so as you can see, we are considering also, or we are doing this in handwriting examination. We are observing the proportion. So tinitignan natin kung pare-parehas ba yung pagsulat niya ng letter N, okay, or para ma-identify natin kung ganun ba talaga yung style niya in writing letter N. Okay? Kung mapapansin natin na pare-parehas yung pagsulat niya ng letter N, then ibig sabihin, yun yung normal na letter N niya. Okay? So, that is proportion, or we are looking on proportion. So, ratio naman, Okay, we are referring to the relationship, okay, between the tall and short letters. Okay, this is referred to as the ratio of the writing. Okay, so we have here, okay, the two groups of letters in the alphabet. We have short letters and then we have the tall letters. Okay, so we have here an example. So these are usually termed as long letters. Okay, kasi it forms, okay, almost two lines. Okay, from the center line to the bottom line in here. Okay, and then we have here also this one as small letters. Okay, and we have here still another considered one as a tall letters. Okay, tall letters, and it was said here that twice the length, okay, or the tall letters is twice the length of short letters. If you are going to observe, okay, short letter, okay, and sabi dyan, twice the length, okay, of short letters ang tall letters po natin. So, parang dalawang letter A po siya. Okay? Pinagpatong na letter A or dalawang pinagpatong na letter E or small letters, okay, mapapansin ninyo na yan ay, or we can say that that is a tall letter. Okay, so that is for the ratio. We are going to look on the shortness, the tallness of the, or if that is a tall or short letter. Okay, and we have here rhythm. Rhythm, okay, the elements of writing movement that are marked by regular or periodic recurrences. Okay, it may be classed as smooth or intermittent, okay, or jerky, and the quality. So we are referring also on the quality, but we are not referring to just the line quality of the handwriting, but the overall, okay, overall characteristics or overall forms of the letters or overall forms of the handwriting. So with that, okay, judging this, okay, does it have a good rhythm or smooth rhythm? So this is a poor rhythm of, or he has the poor rhythm of handwriting. Okay, so if you are going to observe that it is in a straight line, okay, and then tuloy-tuloy lang yung sulat, walang masyadong pen leaf, okay, or walang masyadong changes in the alignment, okay, and then the uh, the baseline, okay, so that is considered to be as a good rhythm. He has a good rhythm in handwriting. Okay, and that's it. That is also termed as lack of rhythm, okay, or bad rhythm of handwriting. Okay, and the importance of rhythm. Okay, bakit kaya natin nasabi na important? This is also important. Okay, by studying the rhythm of the succession of strokes, one can determine, okay, if the writer writes, okay, normally or spontaneously. Okay, so pag napansin natin na hinto-hinto yung sulat niya, masyadong maraming pen leaf, okay, masyadong maraming angular forms, okay, and then merong pen leaf, okay, so ibig sabihin hesitant siya. The writer might be hesitant, okay, so that's why if we are going to consider the rhythm also of the handwriting, okay, then we can determine if that is a written in a normal way or not. Okay? Or it is being imitated. Okay? So kapag maganda yung rhythm niya, tuloy-tuloy lang yung pagsulat niya, and then hindi masyadong magulo yung arrangement, okay, nung writing niya. Okay? So that is what we are referring to in rhythm. Okay? And shadings. Okay? So this is the widening of the ink. Okay? Widening of the ink, and usually widening of the ink is ano natin yan. Okay, mabubuo yan if there is too much pen pressure. Okay, or the more pressure that we put on, okay, on the pen, then shading is being formed. Okay, and then a significant writing habit. Okay, so these are characteristics of handwriting that is sufficiently uncommon, okay, and well fixed to serve as a fundamental point in identification. So significant writing habit, we are referring to the individual characteristics or the peculiar characteristics of handwriting of the individual. Okay? And we call that as significant handwriting. Bakit significant? Okay? Kasi importante yan sa atin na handwriting examiner para malaman natin, or yan yung makakapagturo kasi kung sino yung may-ari or kung sino yung nagsulat ng document or ng writings na yan. Okay? So, simplification, okay, eliminating extra superfluous strokes from the copybook model. So, kung normal na ang pagsulat ng letter T ay meron siyang dash sa gitna, okay, yung iba di na nilalagyan. Okay, dumediretso na lang. Yung iba naman, instead of putting that in the top portion, okay, in letter I, yung iba wala na lang. Removing. Okay, removing extra or superfluous strokes. Katulad din sa letter J. Okay, wala nang that. Instead of merong that. Okay, that is simplification. And then the size, we are referring to the overall size of the writing or the proportions between zones. Okay, and with that, skill is also being considered in handwriting examination. Okay, and we have here, okay, so we have here also the, we are simply referring to the ability. Okay, okay, that is referring to the skill, okay, of the individual to write proficiently. Okay, so the ability to write proficiency, right? Proficiency or proficiently. Okay, and we have here slope of slant. Okay, slope of slant. So meron po tayo yung slant to the left na pagsulat. Meron din po tayo yung slant to the right. Okay, I mean, baliktad po tayo. So slant to the left. Okay, meron din po tayo yung slant to the right. And then meron din po tayo yung vertical slant. Okay, or we're simply the angle or inclination of the axis of the letters. Okay, so meron yung iba pag ganun magsulat, yung iba naman pabaliktad. Okay, that is the slope of their handwriting, yung iba straight. And that is for the slope of slant. Okay, and speed of writing, speedy writing. Okay, we are referring to the personal pace at which the writer's pen moves across the paper. Okay, or we are referring to the, okay, writing speed can be measured precisely from the finished handwriting but can be interpreted in broad terms of slow, moderate, or rapid. Okay, writing. Tension naman, it is not the degree or it's different from pen pressure. Okay, kung sa pen pressure is the average force na ginagawa natin, okay, in order for us to create words, okay, write words. Dito naman sa tension, the degree of force exerted on the pen, okay, compared on the to the relaxation or simply the way we hold the pen, okay, the degree of force we exert in holding the pen, okay, that is what we refer to as the tension. Okay, and terminal strokes, this referred to the ending, okay, terminal strokes or the ending strokes. So meron po tayo yung mga tinatawag na tapering strokes. So, tapering strokes, normal handwriting po yung mga yan. Pero kapag yan is a blunt or that is a shady terminal strokes, then that could be written in yung medyo madiin or with more pressure on it. Okay? So, terminal strokes, okay, or ending strokes po na sinasabi natin. A final portion of the letter. And we have here initial strokes, the beginning naman po ito, yung simula. So as you can see, this might be the initial stroke. So initial stroke, okay, that might be the one, and this is the terminal stroke. This is the terminal stroke, okay, or the ending portion of the letter, and this is initial stroke, the starting portion of the letter. And tremor, okay, tremor is being produced maybe by nervousness, or maybe by physical disabilities. Katulad na lang nung merong illness nung Parkinson's disease. Okay? It's because of the uncontrollable movement of the muscle. That's why tremors are being formed in handwriting also. Okay? And variability, the degree of to which the writing varies from the copybook model. Okay? Or the sa atin kasi binabago natin, di ba? Yung instead na sundin natin yung nasa copybook model or tularan natin yung tinuro sa atin ng elementary. Okay, pero ngayon binabago-bago natin. Okay, and then the degree of change, okay, or the degree on which it varies from the copybook model, then that is what we refer to as variability. A variation naman, the act or process of changing, okay, or nagbabago-bago yung sulat, or nagbabago yung sulat might be. Okay, so what are the causes of it? Okay, it's because of the function of some external factors. Okay, function. Okay, and lack of machine-like precision of the human hand. Okay, abnormal conditions such as injury, toxic effects, okay, inebriations, emotion, nervousness, and age rider. Okay, and with that, sa external factors, okay, it's because of the condition of the paper. Magkakaiba-iba yung ballpen na gamit natin, magkakaiba yung papel na gamit natin. That is for letter A. Okay? For the letter B, magkakaiba-iba yung skills na meron tayo. Okay? The motor or the muscles, handwriting skills of our muscles that we can do. Okay? Or manual dexterity. Okay? Abnormal conditions naman, okay? Merong mga sakit na dinaramdam katulad ng Parkinson's disease. Okay, or yung iba merong problema sa isipan, okay, or merong disorder sa isipan, and with that they are hardly to create, okay, or nagbabago yung sulat nila, or bigla silang nagkaroon ng disorder sa isipan nila, or nagkaroon sila ng uh, injury and others. Okay, and yung emotion nila malungkot sila kaya nagbabago yung sulat nila. Kung dati masayahin, ngayon malungkot, okay, yung sulat. Okay, kasi malungkot sila ngayon. Okay, and that is for variation. I mean, that is another cause of variation. Okay, position of the letter. Okay, so let's say, okay, all letters are to be found initially, medially, finally. Okay, the fact of the different position, okay, contributes also to the change or variation in writing a certain letter. Okay, and katulad na lang ng letter B. Okay, or letter, okay, let's say ball. Okay, and if you observe, letter A is like that. Okay, if we are going to write another one, okay, so magbabago naman yung itsura niya kapag manggagaling sa baba yung stroke niya. Okay, so let's say, ang, okay, sad. So nagbago yung okay, nagbago yung yung itsura ng letter A. Okay, not as in it totally changed, okay, but the initial stroke and the initial or the initial stroke might change also. Okay, or the reason why it changed. Okay, appearance seemly, or it is likely, or it seems it changed. Okay, and then we have here also letter E. Okay, due to the quantity of the writing, or masyadong marami yung sulat. Okay, if you now observe, I mean masyadong sinusulat. Okay, if you observe during the time that you are all still on the high school days, okay, if you write from the first part, maganda yung sulat mo. First pa lang na sulat mo. Okay, pero kapag masyado nang maraming pinapasulat yung teacher nyo, okay, unti-unting nagbabago po ang ating writings. Okay, pumapangit na siya. Okay, so that's why, or that is also one cause of variation. Okay, dahil napagod or nangalay na yung muscles natin, okay, in writing. So that is also a reason of variation. Okay, and word space, nabanggit na po natin kanina. Okay, space from another word. Okay, and then take note of the other term. This is also termed as lateral spacing. Okay, and writing skill, okay, the dexterity or manual dexterity, I mean the writing skill of the individual. Okay, and then with that, there is also uh, they also believe that manual dexterity is either inherent or acquired, or maybe in some writers, for some studies, okay, they say that it is being inherent, okay, or this is being practiced or acquired by themselves through practice. Okay, so anyway, the writing skill, the goodness, or uh, the the beauty, okay, or the capability of the individual to create letters or words. Okay, so the basis upon which skills, okay, are judged are, okay, pleasing pictorial aspect of writing, usually legibility, or naiintindihan natin yung sulat, nababasa natin. Okay, so he has a good writing skill. Symmetry, or hindi masyadong magulo yung alignment niya. Okay, pare-parehas yung alignment, pare-parehas yung sizes, maybe pare-parehas yung slant. Okay, then he has a good writing skill. Okay, writing impulse naman, okay, the result of the pen touching down on the paper and moving across the page until it is raised from the paper. Okay, so from the time that it touched the pen, okay, writing, okay, writing several words, okay, then that is what we refer to as writing impulse. Okay, so from the moment it touches the paper, okay, moving across the page until it is raised from the paper. Okay, so that is writing impulse. Okay? And with that, we have here rubric or embellishment. Nabanggit na natin kanina, yan yung mga decorations po natin. Common po dyan yung letter I. Okay, so ginagamit na that is star or yung iba is heart. Okay, and that is a form of embellishment. Take note that is also called as rubric. Okay, so with that, those are the writing characteristics that we have here. And yes, thank you for I hope that you have at least learned some things in here. Okay, and with that, okay, that ends for now the presentation, and we are going to continue more on handwriting examination and identification on our next videos. So thank you for watching.